La Güera Loca is in the house. I can't even tell you how excited I am for this professionally and personally. It's an honor to be talking with, if I'm not mistaken, still the longest reigning knockouts world champion in history, and a third of the current knockout world tag team champions in the Death Dolls. Taya Valkyrie, welcome to Count It Out. What an honor.
Oh, nice. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We're definitely very excited to have you on the show as well. And I want to jump in by talking about your triumphant return to Impact Wrestling. I was certainly excited when that happened, but I have to ask, you had made a return after spending some time away from the company for shooting Johnny Bravo. So when you came back, was there any initial awkwardness or hesitation given where you had been serving your time, or did it feel more like you were coming home?
I think a little bit of both, but I also think the awkwardness was on my side because I felt like embarrassed and I felt like I don't know, I just felt like I let everybody down. So I was very like apprehensive and just kind of like maybe not as like forward and not being myself a little bit at first, but I obviously that all went away as time went on. And I just think that they were there with open arms, everybody in the roster, everybody, all the fans. The reaction of me coming back at the WrestleCon show, for example, was magical. But yeah, no, it definitely felt like I was coming home, but it was my personal issues when I was where I was at, where I felt just a little, sad about the whole thing. But coming back and knowing that I was coming back to an environment where they believed in me. And I've said this before, but like Scott Demore and Gail Kim were, some of the first people to text or call me when I got released. And we're just like, they know how passionate I am about this business and how much everything means to me so much, to the point where sometimes it's like I'm a little too sensitive. But they were just like, everything is going to be okay. And guess what? Everything was more than okay. And everything has been more than okay. And now I'm a two-time, knockouts world tag team champion. I'm tagging with my best friends, the Death Dolls, and really just finding my place. And I have. And I've my confidence and my just attitude is just, I feel like myself again. And that is just all I want, all you could want, really.
I'll say the only way that you may have let the fans down was that you didn't get the job done in actually taking out Johnny Bravo. I know there's quite a few fans
He's still alive.
who would
Yeah.
have been real happy if you had just gotten the job done, but other than that, we were all quite pleased with the work you did. And I got to say, bringing you back in with Rosemary and continuing that dynamic had me so excited, just because I was such a fan of that when you guys had teamed up previously. Did you find that that was a little bit a way to ease you back into things, to be someplace familiar with familiar people and those that you already knew and loved? Or did it really even matter? Was it just like, look, I don't care what you got to throw at me, I'm going to go in there and give it 110?
Well, I think that people don't realize is that like I was talking to the knockouts from jail on a regular basis. We are all actually very, very good friends. And so I would FaceTime with Rosemary and Jess and Alicia Edwards and Sue Young. I'll remember when she told me that she was having a baby, Sue Young, over FaceTime. Like we're all genuinely friends and care about each other. So coming back and getting to work with Rosemary again and seeing Jessica just come into her own and transform into this absolutely sickening person that you see today has just been so much fun. We all have so much respect for each other. All the knockouts genuinely just want to do good work and we're supportive of each other. We are there for each other when we're down. We're there for each other to celebrate one another when things are going well. And it's very cool to be in that locker room again and just genuinely feel the connection that we all have.
Let's talk a little bit about the knockouts division while you were away and kind of watching it from an outside perspective, because while you were gone, Impact Wrestling presented the 2022 edition of Hard to Kill, which featured two knockouts, main eventing a major pay-per-view for the first time ever. And then this past January 13th, Impact did it again with another knockouts match as the headliner. Now, when you saw that, did it give you a sense of pride knowing things like your record-setting reign as knockout world champion kind of helped pave the way and set the bar for those main events to happen? Or did it light a fire under you and make you feel that, as that trendsetter, it should have been you in there instead of
Um,
Deanna Perrazzo or Jordan Grace or Mickey James?
I am just happy to see that we've all just seen this championship and our roster grow to this level. We've all worked so hard. Every knockout come before me, every knockouts champion before me, to prove that we are main event ready, that we draw, that we get people's attention, that we can do absolutely anything that a man can do. So I have a huge sense of pride in those women, and watching them main event several times has just been great. And I mean, this has been, prior to being Impact TNA, always gave the women their spot, their time. And so it's because of all these years of hard work that everybody put before us that we're able to, everyone that walked, we're allowed to run. I know that's a very cliche thing to say, or what's the word for it? But it's just exciting to see us continue to grow as a group, and that we're all so very supportive of one another. And, it's great. How can I be mad at that? Like, that's what we want. That's what we fight for.
Good, humble Canadian girl right there. That's the Canadian in you coming out, I'm sure. I'll say this. Let's talk about groups, specifically the little group that you formed with Rosemary and Jessica, the Death Dolls. You talked about watching Jessica grow into her new persona and loving it so much. Did you have a little bit of a hand in that? How hands-on with you in that? Were you giving little inputs here and there and going, you should try this, and this would be a cool idea?
Well, we all talk constantly in our little Monster High text group about ideas and what we're going to be doing coming to the next, tapings or outfits or vibes or, everything like that. We just play off each other so well. I don't think that I was necessarily like, guiding her towards a certain thing. I think me and Rosemary were just there supporting whatever it was that Jessica was doing, and obviously Taya loves a mimosa too. So I would have had a lot that influence. I mean, Rosemary will tell you over and over again that it's my fault that Jessica went out and partied in Las Vegas last time, but we're coming back to Vegas. So she better be ready for round 2.
I'm definitely looking forward to that and the kind of shenanigans that the Death Dolls are going to get up to in Vegas. Also, quick question. Why is the Monster Hive not a show on Impact? Like, why is that not a series that you guys are doing, like a reality show? I think that's ratings right there.
I mean, I think there might be a copyright issue, but
come on.
The Death Doll High, we could do it. I would love that. I think that anybody that knows the three of us, if you've met us at a meet and greet, you are getting the Death Doll experience. We are just there to make sure that everyone is having fun, and for you guys to know that we really appreciate each and every one of you. So a show about us, I mean, twist my arm.
Right. And hey, don't leave Scott D'Amore to worry about the legalities of things. All right. You just bring the entertainment. That's what we're all here to see. Now, although you seem to have had, a great time this past year in the Death Dolls in 2022, I have to ask, were you a little bit disappointed that you didn't get to challenge Mickie James during the last rodeo? I mean, I know a lot of my fans, myself included, have considered Taya Valkyrie versus Mickie James a dream match, and we've never gotten it.
I mean, you never know what's going to happen this year. Her last rodeo is not over, guys. She's just Impact Knockouts World's champion. So that just means even though I'm tag champ, there's 3 of us. So that leaves space for one of us to maybe go after the Knockouts World Championship. So you never know. The last rodeo is not done, y'all.
And neither is Taya Valkyrie. But if you were to ever hang it up and have, say, your own, I don't know, final flight of the Valkyrie, let's say, just for fun, let's talk about a couple of knockouts that you would like to face, past or present. Any ones that off the top of your head you'd like, okay, if I'm wrapping it up, they are on the last tour.
Well, first of all, I will never, number one rule in wrestling, never say you're going to retire, because everybody comes back. So I would. Well,
that's why this is all hypothetical. This is all hypothetical. I
would just kind of back up into the darkness in a poof of smoke, and no one would know what would happen. Like, because then I could just reappear whenever I want. Rosemary could just zap me in, right?
Believe me, as a fan of Impact Wrestling, we know people can go to all kinds of weird things happen to them and still come back.
I might go on vacation to the realm and never come back. So, but no, I mean, I personally would never ever say I am going to retire, because it's just not me, because I just think that in wrestling, you never know what's going to happen. I also come from Lucha Libre, where luchadors wrestle until the end of time, and I don't know, like I want to wrestle everyone that loves this business just as much as me. Like, I'm a mark for something, and that's wrestling. So I have been for a long time. We're all fans. And so I want to face the best. I want to face Mickey James. I'd love Gail Kim to come out of retirement.
Yeah.
Like I just, there's so many new up and comers that I haven't faced. And so, maybe during my last trip around the sun before I take my permanent vacation in the realm, there definitely would be a long list.
Now, one of the men who brought you up in the business, Lance Storm, works as a producer for Impact now. Do you think it's tougher having your trainer produce you because of your history, or does that history equate to greater synergy in the new dynamic?
I absolutely love having Lance as an agent because I have known him for 12 years, basically, since I didn't know anything, and him witnessing my first ever match. We won't go there, but it's just been really fun having him as an agent because he is just brutally honest and there's no bullshit, and he tells you how it is. Him and Tommy Dreamer, like they're very like to the point, which I love. Like, I want to know if there's something I'm doing wrong, if there's something that you don't like, or if you think I could do something better, tell me. That's the only way you get better. If you just beat around the bush and just want everyone to be happy, like it's not it for me. I like to know what's going on, and I like to know how I can improve. And Lance has been really good in helping us with all the tag team matches we've been having. Him and Gail are phenomenal agents, and we're just really lucky to have both of them.
And obviously there's the Canadian connections as well.
Duh.
And after Vegas, you'll be back in your home and native land of Canada, March 24th and 25th for Sacrifice, the Impact TV tapings in Windsor. I've got my tickets.
Yes.
Then April 16th for the Rebellion pay-per-view and more TV tapings at the Rebel Complex in Toronto. Now, do you feel any extra pressure when you wrestle in Canada because, you're playing it at home as you were?
I guess I feel a little bit more nervous because 90% of my career was not in Canada. So I always kind of have this part of me that's like, do they even like me? Like, just
we
because
love you.
But just because I never I wrestled for like a year and a half on the indies on the West Coast, in Calgary and Edmonton and Vancouver before moving to Mexico. So I didn't really get a lot of time wrestling for the Canadian indies. So I have a definite sense of nervousness every time I go there, but also just happiness because Canada's the best. We know that. Everyone's super nice and opens doors and smiles at you and says sorry every 13 seconds. It's great. And I can also get a double and some Timbits.
Always.
We miss the Timbits here in Los Angeles.
Just not the same. Donut holes are just not the same as Timbits.
No, and like Dunkin' Donuts is like a fake, and I hate it. Fake Timbits called Munchkins.
Look,
not good. Not good.
La Güera Loca with the controversial comments, spewing it out, but staying real. Staying real. That's the important thing. And of course, the next stop on the Güera Loca World Tour is Las Vegas, Nevada. Obviously, your favorite place in Sin City is going to be Sam's Town, where you'll be with Impact Wrestling for a triple header of events February 24th, 25th, and the 26th. But I have to ask, what are some of Taya Valkyrie's favorite things to do or see in Vegas when she's not wrestling in the Knockouts division?
Okay. So I love going to shows. I've gone to a million different shows. I think the most recent one that I really had fun at was Absinthe, which is at Caesar's Palace, which is like a variety show. It gives me very like Lucha Vavoom vibes, which I love. I love going to all the beautiful restaurants and everything. And I've had so many good memories there with so many friends, like the Chelsea and Matt's wedding last year and all this kind of stuff. So it's just a really fun place for me. And I'm excited to be back.
Well, I'm sure Vegas is going to be excited to have you back. And we wanted to have a little bit of fun to close things off here. So we're going to play a little game. It's called, you've heard of Would You Rather? Well, this is Who'd You Rather? And it's Who'd You Rather Death Dolls in Vegas edition. So I'm going to list off some stuff to do in Las Vegas, and you're going to tell me which of the death dolls you'd rather do the activity with. All right?
Okay.
Here we go. So
Can't
first
I just
thing,
pick all of them?
well, no, that's the challenge of it.
Okay.
So who are you going to hit the poker table with, Rosemary or Jessica?
Rosemary, 100%.
Okay, all right. Consequently, who are you going to hit the buffet tables with? Who's the best? Who knows the best spots to eat in Vegas? Who would be the better restaurant partner?
I mean, Rosemary just feeds on souls, so I'm gonna go with Jessica.
A little bit more sustenance there. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Who would you like to take to the Grand Canyon?
I'm gonna say Rosemary because I feel like the Grand Canyon has like mystical energy or something, and I'm sure she could figure it out, like if some aliens made that or not.
How about the Shark Reef Aquarium?
Oh, Jessica for sure. She'd be wanting to buy all the shark merch and like run around and like totally terrorize these animals, I'm sure.
There's a whole bunch of escape rooms in Vegas. Who would you want to try and escape with?
Oh, Rosemary, because she can zap us in and out.
See, that's the smart thinking right there. And one last one. Who would you rather face one-on-one at Sam's Town?
Rosemary, because we have so many years of history, and I feel like Jessica as the referee would be amazing.
Didn't even put that together. Mind blown. That's why
Yeah,
you're the legend.
like go okay. So there's this place in Vegas where you get brunch called the Pepper Mill. It's been there forever. So I think that Jessica would have to go to brunch, drink bottomless mimosas for a few hours, then come referee Rosemary versus Valkyrie.
Scott Demore, book it. If not here, then at Wrestle House, please. I want to see it. And yes, I want more Wrestle House. You were great on that.
Thank you.
That is going to be our time. Taya, thank you so much for coming on. Truly a personal and professional honor today. And thank you so much for being with us. You can catch Taya Valkyrie, of course, every single Thursday on Access TV with Impact Wrestling. You can subscribe to their YouTube channel, their Ultimate Insiders and their Insiders. You can watch her every week. And don't forget, if you're in the Vegas area, for God's sakes, get those tickets. Come to Samtown, February 24th, 25th, 26th, and then hop on over across the border on the 24th and 25th for Windsor, and the 16th and 17th in Toronto. There, I think I got it all. Taya, thank you again. This was a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.